Welcome to another episode of Motor Mouth, brought to you by the Boyertown Museum of Historic Vehicles. I'm Kendra Cook.
I'm Dan Olson.
Hi, Dan.
Hi.
And we're here at the Boyertown Museum. We're in the Reading Diner right now. And the Boyertown Museum is located at 85 South Walnut Street in Boyertown, Pennsylvania. Now, we're open Tuesdays through Sundays, 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Now, we're coming up on some major holidays here, so we have a slightly different schedule. The museum will be closed on December 24th and 25th, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, as well as December 31st, New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day, January 1st. Now, normally we are closed on Mondays. We do a lot of work here at the museum. We usually close down. But on December 29th, which is that Monday between Christmas and New Year, we will be open to the public. And so for you people who maybe you have family coming in from out of town, or you've got the kids home from school and they're getting bored, we will be open on Monday. If you'd like to come and visit us, we'd love to see you. And we got some great things here to look at, including that really awesome Rhino car will still be here, and we talked about that last month on the show. Mm-hmm. So you can still have a chance to come and see that car, as well as sit in the diner here like Dan and I are doing tonight. So we hope we get to see you. If you want to contact the museum, you can give us a call at 610-367-2090 or visit our website at www.boyertownmuseum.org. Or if you're on Facebook, you can like us on there and get updates weekly, at least several times a week. We'll get updates and photos about things going on here.
And don't we have some sort of an event on December 5th?
Yes, Friday, December 5th, it's actually the Boyertown Holiday House Tour. And we're a stop on the tour, basically. So we have an open house going on here, and we'll have some refreshments for people. And we're going to have a very interesting model train demonstration, and you're going to learn a little bit more about that later on in the program.
Right.
So, yeah, hopefully if you're able to come out December 5th, we'd love to see you. And January 2015 marks the start, too, of our year-long celebration of the museum's 50th anniversary. The museum turns 50 in 2015. So stay tuned to this program and also to our website and things like that to find out about all the events that we've got planned for next year. We've got a lot of really neat stuff going on. And we'll keep you guys informed as we get closer to certain ones as well. So a lot going on here, as always.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now, already, Dan, I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about one of our big topics tonight here on the program.
Big topics, okay. This is interesting because we figured this topic out a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever, about keeping your windshields clean, especially in the winter time. And it might sound kind of like a dull subject, but I found some really cool stuff. We had some things to show you also. And it's interesting because tonight, from this taping date, we're supposed to get a blizzard maybe?
4 to 8 inches maybe?
Okay, a miniature blizzard. But it'll be interesting because a lot of the advertising I saw, they're talking not only about rain and stuff, but they're talking about snow also. And you think in 1917, 1920, and protecting your car from snow, well, not protecting it, but keeping your windshield clear so you don't have accidents because of snow. And that's what we're going to be talking about. And first off, I'm going to talk, you can go to a store right now, and any auto parts store, you can probably go to places like Walmart and stuff, and get a product you can put on your windshield, and it's going to repel the rain. And if I said certain brand names, you'd say, oh yeah, I've heard of that. But you rub it on your windshield, and it beads the rain up, and it goes off pretty quick. And I remember when a certain brand came out, I don't know, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, I said, wow, that is some great stuff. Well, it's not really 20 or 30 years old. It's a lot further than that. And I'm going to mention two brands from 1917 that came out. One of them is called Presto Cloth, and made by the Cleveland Presto Cloth Company in Cleveland, of course. Chemically prepared cloth. For 50 cents, you get one of these cloths. And their advertisement says, one application suffices, no matter duration of storm or its severity. Cause rain to run off, giving drivers a clear vision. Presto Cloth contains no oil or grease, non-soiling to hands or windshield. So that's the Presto Cloth. Another one is called Fracto Cloth, made in Brockton, Massachusetts. That only costs you 35 cents, but they said buy now because the price is going to be raised to 50 cents. And it says,
honest about
oh
it.
yeah, it says rain or snow positively will not collect on the windshield of your car when Fracto Cloth has been applied. And then I saw something, real tiny letters at the bottom of the advertisement. It says, can safely be used on your eyeglasses to prevent steaming. So not only in your windshield, but on your eyeglasses too. And I thought that was kind of interesting. You don't see that in today's advertising. Okay, so there we go. We got two cloths that you could buy in a store, and they had some sort of chemical in it. You just spread it on the windshield, and it would repel the, maybe not repel, but make the water go off. I guess that would be repel, the water.
Yeah, yeah.
And I also came across in a book, for those of you who are really into older cars and such, there was a series of encyclopedias made called Dyke's Automobile and Gasoline Engine Encyclopedia. They came out every couple of years, and they're fantastic. And this is from 1923, and I came across this formula. It says, to prevent rain or snow from sticking to glass, a trade magazine gives the following mixture to use. 2 ounces glycerin, 1 ounce of water with 1 gram salt. Apply to windshield with cheesecloth, wiping up and down or in a vertical direction. So what we're going to do right now is figure this out, and Kendra's going to do it because I told her if I started doing it, I'd have a rain-resistant shirt because I'd probably spill it all over me. And so she has the glycerin, so 2 ounces of that. And she said she had to search around for glycerin, but actually she got it in a local drugstore. And 1 ounce of water.
All right.
Oh, you want to mix it in there, okay.
We'll mix it up.
Gooey stuff, isn't it? And so we have some glass here sitting on the counter. She's going to put it on, and hopefully by the end of the show it'll be evaporated, and we can go in and dump water on it and see if it actually repels it. So
1 ounce of
1
water.
ounce of water.
I wouldn't. It's kind of separating it.
Yeah.
That stuff's almost like a gel.
So.
And then now, how much salt?
1 dram.
Yeah, a dram of salt, which I've never heard of that measurement before. Apparently, a dram was an ancient Greek coin, and they used it as measurement.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it comes out to be about 1 dram comes out to be about 5 grams, which is not quite a teaspoon. That's more than you ever wanted to know about a dram.
Yeah, but you see, you don't just learn about cars in this show.
Weights and measurements, too.
Cooking, the whole deal.
This is the Cooking with Kendra and Dan segment.
Yeah.
All right, so I got it all in here.
Mix it up.
And I don't have a cheesecloth. Can you buy cheesecloths? I don't even know where to go for a cheesecloth.
I don't know.
I had enough problems with the glycerin.
There's probably cheesecloth auctions all over the place.
Kind of, even
It's
that
not
stuff
too
was
bad.
really jelly. It seems to
Yeah,
have.
well, okay.
Okay.
So
All
get,
right.
get our fake cheesecloth
That's
towel.
right.
Okay. Don't drink it.
Yeah, I won't drink it. It doesn't really smell hot at
Oh,
all.
wow.
So, this is our 1923, as you say,
1923, yes.
version of Rain-X, basically, I
Oop.
guess.
I was trying to avoid that brand name.
I'm sorry.
But no, that was all right.
Product placement. They did not pay for their ad. This
No. Okay, so
All right,
there
so
we
that's
go.
one.
And also, Kendra told me about not only this, but there's other household type things that you can do. And she's going to She has some. And what is that round brown thing that you
This
have?
is a potato.
Oh, is that what those things
Yes,
are? I thought
I
it
was
a rock.
reading other old remedies for
Mm-hmm.
this, and they said potato was one. You cut it in half and just
Smear it on.
smear it on. So we'll try
Okay.
that.
Now, we did not test these earlier.
We didn't. We have no
So,
idea.
Yeah, so we'll find
It
out.
could be a massive failure.
It could be. And if it's a failure, we'll tell you,
All right.
don't do this.
Yeah, don't do this.
Don't put potatoes on your windshield. And we
Onion
onion,
was
okay.
another one. And if this doesn't work, we'll just go make some good vegetable
Like a
stock.
stew.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a hard onion.
I'm getting hungry again.
I hope this
Now-
onion
now
doesn't make me cry.
From where I'm sitting, I look across and I see our fake bacon and eggs there, and I keep, I'm hungry. So
Sorry.
I'll take a bite out of the
You want
onion.
a half onion?
Yeah, that would be good. Okay,
All right, there's our onion.
all right.
And the last one I found was carrot.
Oh, I thought that was cheese curls. Now, I am not
Same color?
I am not a
close
carrot
enough.
person. I'm part of the anti-carrot group or something. But for the sake of experimenting and science, we'll use a
Take it
carrot.
Actually, when I told him carrots were one thing, he told me he was allergic to carrots.
Yeah, not really, but
And I was genuinely concerned. I didn't want you to handle the carrot if
Yeah.
you were allergic, but
you notice I didn't handle
you're
it anyway.
selectively allergic.
Yes, that's it.
All right, so there's our 4 tests.
Okay, so while these things are drying, we can introduce our guests now, right?
Yes, earlier when we mentioned the event on the 5th, the open house, the holiday open house, I said about the model train demonstration. Well, if you come on the 5th, or maybe you've been here before, you might recognize this gentleman. We're going to talk with Ted Maurer about the model trains, and you'll love how they're set up. I think
Right.
you're really going to enjoy.
So Ted, why don't you come here and say hi to the audience?
We'll have Ted give you a good wave. Hi, Ted.
Good evening,
There he
folks.
is.
Good to see you here tonight. And we have a lot of fun waiting right for you on this program tonight because it's coming up Christmas time. And what we know about Christmas time is Santa Claus always arrives by train. Okay? Forget the sleigh business. We know that Christmas and electric trains are 100% synonymous. It's always been that way. And if I can do anything to perpetuate that, I will do everything I can to keep that going, keep those trains rolling at Christmas time.
Okay, so
Let's
why
go
don't
take
we?
a look at it.
We'll go out and take a look
Okay,
at,
let's take
at
a
what he
look.
has.
All right.
Okay. Here we are at this truck full of trains that Ted is going to be talking about, and I find this very fascinating. He's had this running several times here at the museum, and it's kind of neat. But Ted, why don't you tell us about it?
Well, we built this as a traveling train display, and actually it is built in such a way that it will explain the very difficult and complicated business of gauges. Trains run on track, and all different trains run on all different gauges, which indicates the width of the track they run on. So this display was built to demonstrate 8 different types of gauges. And they, from top to bottom, you have standard gauge, which is the largest. You have O gauge and O27 gauge. Those are the popular Lionel gauges. You have HO, you have N gauge in there, and you have Z gauge, plus around the back, we also have a little bit of American Flyer S gauge. That's the gauge that American Flyer used after the war. Now what we have here is the whole business is built into this 1924 Model T truck, and it is a traveling display. Everything required to run the display is carried in the truck, including jacks to jack up the front end. If we go around the other side later, you can see that the front end has to be jacked up because early trucks were made with big wheels in the back and smaller wheels in the front because they were really using an automobile chassis. So this truck actually, when it's sitting on the level, runs downhill, and we have to jack it up in the front to make the tracks level so the trains will run, okay? Now, I had this dream to do this. When I bought the truck, it was built as a New England peddler's truck, the type of thing that would go around through the countryside selling pots and pans, things that women needed to sew, and small tools for the men. Maybe the peddler would even occasionally do repairs. He might be a tinker. He might repair pots. He might sharpen knives and scissors. And so this truck is a brand new truck. It's what we call a fantasy truck, and it was built to display the type of life that was lived by an early New England peddler. So when I bought the truck, there were no trains in it. And I decided it's a shame to waste a truck like this. So I went to Steve Austin. Steve Austin belongs to the Winross family. I went to Steve Austin and I had him put doors on it. This was just open in the original truck. I had him put doors on it. I had him paint it green, and his wife actually hand lettered all of these different things you will see on the truck about auto parts, books, and everything else, which is what possibly a New England peddler would have been selling. Now, I absolutely am skill-less. I have no skill whatsoever. I don't know how to build. I don't know how to measure. And so I went to a very good friend of mine who was working for me at the time in my train business, Richard Kipp from Bethlehem, PA, and he came and helped lay the tracks. And of course, we had to get it into this little space. And it was quite a job, and it was all field engineered. And so we would put it in, and the trains wouldn't run, and we'd rip it out, and we'd do something else. The first time we ran the top tracks, we had a big standard gauge American Flyer locomotive running around there, and it was doing just fine, and we were really pleased with ourselves. And it came around the corner, the side rod dropped off, caught in the tie, and threw the thing right out onto the ground. So a $500 locomotive lay at our feet in pieces. But what really concerned us was, we thought if something like that came out of the truck while there was a kid here watching, maybe the child would be hurt. So immediately we ripped that out. We put in a G-gauge line, which runs only plastic trains, so that if one does come out of the top of the truck, it probably wouldn't hurt anybody very badly. Then we took it as far as we could with Kippy, and then I went to my antique automobile mechanic who visits me every Friday and keeps my obsolete fleet running, and he worked on some of the other aspects of the electrics and the transformers and getting all the wires laid and all the lights to work and all of those things, and his name is Keith Story, and he was invaluable in completing the details of the truck. And so, when we button it all up, we take everything with wheels, all the trains and cars and whatever else has to come off the tracks. They get put into the drawers, packed away, the drawers get closed up, all the doors get closed, and these doors get closed, and then we are ready to roll, and away we go in a 1924 Model T. And it's all ready to run. All I need is an outlet, a 110-volt outlet, and we plug it in, and in 1 hour we're up and running and can display all these trains, and believe you me, it is a lot of fun. It's my dream come true. Now, if we go around the back, we can show you a few other aspects of this display.
So before we go around the back, I just want to say, again, December 5th, this is going to be running, right? You're going to be here operating it.
You bet your life.
You know, yep. Friday night, what is that?
And you can come and ask any question you like, and we'll have a whole different group of trains to run. We can run trolley cars, we can run locomotives, we can run any gauge you would like to see operate. We can demonstrate that for you and explain how that works. And we'd be very, very happy to see you here on that evening.
Now, you said all you need is 110 volt to run it, but have you ever had it where you had a generator run it like remotely?
Yes. We don't like to do it with a generator because it makes too much noise and it's very distracting. Actually, we have an air compressor to run our steam engines. Because here at the Boyertown Museum, you don't allow open flame. My steam engines would actually boil the water and make the steam with alcohol, but you won't allow me to do that. So we have to use an air compressor to make air go through the steam engine so they run, and that's much safer, of course. It's also neater, because if you use real steam, you've got water, you've got oil, and it runs all over the place. So actually, I'm kind of pleased you won't let me do that.
Okay.
Now that is the largest train we have. Now we'll show you the smallest train we have. That's the old standard gauge. Now we'll run Z gauge. That's the smallest commercially available gauge we have at the present time. I'm going to lose that down and around. Yep, there she goes. She's not going to come back out today, but it will on December the 5th. It'll be back to see you. These are steam engines. They will run off live steam. This is also a steam engine. This is a Whedon. This is a very early steam engine made here in America. This is a later steam engine. You can buy these currently in the stores. And this one here is from the 30s. That is also live steam. That's what we call a vertical. These are horizontal, okay? Here you see some early accessories. This is a reproduction American Flyer switch tower. Here you see the S-gauge track up here, and this is an S-gauge trolley, and I'm sure that it's not going to work today, but there we have it, and that goes back and forth. That's what we call a to and fro system. It just bumps and then it goes and it bumps and comes back again. These are American Flyer S-gauge accessories. A lot of you will remember this, I'm sure, from when you were children and working around the Christmas tree. So that's what we have on this side. And if you want me to talk more about the truck, I will gladly do so if we go around the other side.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, of course, this is a 1924 Model T. Very, very close to the end of Model T production. They made the last one in May of 1927, so this is really quite a late Model T Ford truck. What they did was they beefed up the frame. The engine and the transmission in a Model T truck are the same as they are in a Model T automobile. They just beefed up the frame and put the thing on a longer wheelbase and call it a 1-ton truck. So they, instead of calling it a Model T, these were known as TTs. And so the T is run completely from these pedals and from your gas and your spark. Okay, this is the spark, this is the gas, and you have a horn button here. This is your emergency brake, and it is also your clutch. So when you're in your Model T and you have it running and you want to go forward, you press this pedal all the way to the floor and you will go forward. Now if you want to go into high gear, there's only low and high. Then you move this lever front, you let your pedal out, now you're in high gear, and away you go. If you want to stop and go backwards, you put your foot on the brake, that's that pedal, you put your lever into neutral, and you squeeze the center pedal into the floor, and you will go backwards. Now, since this is a truck, and since it has a heavy body, we have in this truck an auxiliary transmission, which Ford did not sell. Ford did not make. It's the Warford transmission. Some people think that is a Ruxtel gear shift lever, but this is the Warford transmission, and you operate it from that stick, and it gives you an underdrive, an overdrive, and a direct drive. And overdrive is the high-speed drive, and that carries you forth at 22 miles an hour. Can you believe it? Whizzing along in this thing at 22 miles an hour. You have a coil box here. You have a coil for every cylinder. You have 4 coils right in there. And as you're driving along, you can hear them buzz. They make a nice little music for you. Buzz, 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 buzz. They go back and forth. And when one of them stops buzzing, right away that car's going to start missing. So you want to hear that buzz. You have a very simple light switch, and you only have one gauge to watch. It's the amp gauge, and it tells you whether you're charging or discharging. I don't know whether you can see it, but we outfitted this with nice glass vases so you can dress up and have flowers in there. I put mirrors on here so we can see to the rear. This is the last year when you could have kerosene lamps on your Model T. They did away with them after this. but this was the last year that they made kerosene lamps available. Your headlights are electric, and they burn very dimly if you're running along in high gear. So if you get into a very dark place and you need more light, if you go into low gear, it'll make the engine run faster, it'll make the lights burn brighter, and then you can see where you're going. What a deal. We have also here a parking light. Now, the parking light was required in some municipalities. If you left your vehicle on the street overnight, you had to have a parking light. What they didn't tell you was if you left that parking light on all night long, in the morning when you came out, your battery would be dead and you could start all fresh. This particular car or truck in 1924, from 1919 on, you could pay extra and get a starter. This is the starter button. But if your battery did go dead overnight, you could always come around the front and crank it. You can crank these right up, and if the car is adjusted correctly, it will start with the crank with very, very little trouble. Here you see a motometer. As I said, the Model T has only one gauge, so if you wanted to know whether your temperature was high or low, or whether your Model T might soon boil, and most Model Ts do boil occasionally, you could get a motometer and it would tell you what your temperature was, and it could tell you if your water was getting low and you might boil. Otherwise than that, the Model T is a very, very simple creature, and they do run forever, and this is proof of that.
Let me ask you, I see there's turn signals on here. I'm
Yes.
sure that they're not original
These
to a
turn
truck.
signals are from the 30s.
Okay.
And I put them on because I used to, before I gave the truck to the museum, I used to drive it on the road. And of course, when you're in here, you are like as if you're in a phone booth. You can't
Right.
see to the back, you can't see to the front. If you stick your arm out, nobody can see it from the back because you're so far back in the body. So
And-
I did install turn signals.
And if you stick your arm out, they don't know what it meant
They don't
anyway.
know what it means anyhow, right? Unless, of course, you show certain digits, then they'll get the idea of what you're really talking about, okay?
Yeah.
This is where the battery would be mounted. We take the batteries out here in the museum so that there's no danger of shorts, but your battery goes right there. It's very easy to service. Yep, and as I said, you have smaller tires and wheels in the front than you do in the back. And do you have any other questions, Dan?
No, I think we've covered
Okay,
it.
very
You've done a
good.
really good
Well,
job.
it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I certainly hope that a lot of you folks out there in radio and TV land come and visit me on the December the 5th. I'll be very glad to see you.
This is a wonderful truck, and you see it almost as soon as you walk into the gallery here. You can't miss this truck. So whether or not Ted's here operating the trains or not, you should come and see this.
Dan, I thought we were talking about windshields.
Yeah, we were.
Why am I standing by a car with no windshield?
Well, I kind of wanted to demonstrate that cars didn't always have windshields. So I figured, why not one of our museum's
That's
cars?
true.
This is a 1907 Dragon, by the way. So 1907, cars didn't have windshields.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to really worry about keeping the rain or snow off the windshield.
You probably weren't doing much driving in
No,
inclement
no,
weather,
you know,
I
it
guess.
there's nothing there to protect you.
No, nothing.
So-
Not even any doors.
No.
I mean, this really is not a snow or rain car.
No, it isn't. In fact, you tune in next month, we'll cover that too. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that 1907, cars didn't have windshields. You could get windshields, but they were aftermarket thing. You go to a catalog or something and buy windshields for them. And probably, this is just a wooden board here. You just screw it right on here. And in fact, this bracketry, there might have been a windshield on here at one time. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Okay. And, you know, the next car down and a truck over there, they don't have windshields either. But what we're going to talk about is windshield wipers, okay? And the car to my left here is a Biddle. It's a 1916 Biddle made in Philadelphia. This has a windshield wiper. Now, this just has this little bitty windshield wiper just on the driver's side because he's the only one really staring out the window. And it's, you know, we have the windshield wipers in our car that are electric and they work great, hopefully. Mine, I need new blades in mine, by the way. But anyway.
I'll take it out before we leave.
Yeah,
We'll go to the...
okay. Either that or I'll just spread onion on my windshield.
So you have
need
another
'em.
half an onion in there for you.
Anyway, so we have electric windshield wipers now, and I'm sure a lot of you can remember the vacuum windshield wipers. And I remember as a kid, school bus, I think, had vacuum windshield wipers, so when you speed the vehicle up, the windshield wipers would go slower or to go faster. I forget now. But anyway, they wouldn't work like you'd want them to. You had them to keep the window clear. Back before the vacuum, you had hand operated. You can't really see it, but my hand right now is on a little handle, and you just move this back and forth, and you see the pendulum thing. And as you can see, it only covered a little bit of the windshield in front of you. And I got some advertisements here that I can read. Let's see. You got the Outlook windshield cleaner. It's the only cleaner that really cleans. It costs you $1.50, just like this, $1.50. And most of the time, they just clipped right over top of the windshield frame itself. Okay, this one, I see it goes through the windshield, and I believe it's the Outlook again. Yes, you could get, for the $1.50 attached to the window frame. Then also $1.50 could get you another one. It actually goes right through the window glass. It would drill a hole in the window and attach it. But it costs you 50 cents extra for the labor of attaching the windshield wiper. Yeah. I don't know about drilling holes in glass like that. I can just...
Especially with this stuff. I feel like that would
yeah,
crack.
well, I won't do it here.
Thank you.
It says, for this Outlook windshield cleaner, you notice the word cleaner instead of wiper, okay? To guess is to misjudge. When the windshield is clouded with snow or raindrops, to take a chance is criminal. The Outlook windshield cleaner eliminates chance. One wipe and the windshield is clear of raindrops, snow, or mist. The cleaner is within easy reach from the driver's seat. It is no trouble to operate. So, you know, your driver's seat here, and, you know, your hand's on the steering wheel, well, it's not too much further up to the windshield cleaner, okay?
But it's funny, it's right in front of the driver's face.
Yeah.
I mean...
And not much more.
You're driving...
Yeah. But...
Not very safe.
Yeah. No, but
You weren't
compared to
going that
nothing...
fast either.
Compared to nothing,
Yeah,
you know, that
better
was a
than
new
nothing.
idea. Now, there's other windshield cleaners or windshield wipers from back in this area, and I'll talk about some of them. There's one of them, it's called the Autoscope by a company out of Chicago. It cleans both rain-covered outside as well as fog-covered inside windshield in one stroke. And that is, you had your device like this, but instead of that pendulum act, it was just straight, and it would go all the way across the windshield. So you had a handle inside, and you would just go from side to side and would clean. And just this top half, this is 2 pieces of glass, and it would just be the top half here. And again, it would clip on to the top of your windshield here. And that had the rubber blade, just like today's windshield wipers, on the outside, but on the inside, it was a felt thing, and it would just take care of the fog for you. I thought that was kind of neat. And that one also, they say, it could clip on the top, or it could be inverted and put in between the 2 panes of glass here from the bottom, going back and forth. And you can remember, most cars, these are from 1917, most cars back then were not enclosed. They did not have a hard roof over them. They had maybe a convertible top coming. You still had your opening here, so you could put that through back and forth. I thought that was kind of neat. Another one was called the Clearoscope windshield wiper out of the Clearoscope company in Chicago, and that was kind of interesting. That would cost you $1. It said rain, snow, sleet, mist. Clearoscope keeps a dry, transparent strip before your eyes in spite of them all. They had some clever advertising. I've got to read you a couple of the things here. I read it earlier before we went on air, and Kendra got a kick out of it. And there's these quotes. in their advertisement. One of them is, I never saw her till she was almost in front of the radiator. Everything was a blur, the rain running down the windshield and the street light dazzling me. Her umbrella was inside out and dragging her. I jammed on my brakes, skidded, turned halfway around. It's telling you, you could see better with the Clearoscope windshield wiper. And what did you call that?
It sounded like a really bad Harlequin romance novel.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Here's another one, same company, Clearoscope. My windshield was so coated with moisture that I never knew I was near a trolley track until a huge blurred shape loomed out of the mist. I heard a shrill screech of brakes, a hoarse scream, the clangor of a gong. Then came the ear-splitting crash. My car keeled over, rose in the air, hurtling through space. You don't see that kind of advertisements today. This is quality stuff here.
Yeah, and it's so much advertising now is very short and quick and to the point.
Oh, yeah.
And this is,
And it has
like
photographs.
a short story.
Has a
going on.
picture of the car getting tipped over with the trolley train, and it's cool. Okay. And then there's another one I have here, Clearosight. Was another windshield wiper, again going side by side all the way across the top of the windshield here, made by U-Auto-C Corporation in New York City. You pronounce it correctly, it says You Oughta See Corporation. I thought that was clever too. And they say, just an easy motion across the windshield and you clear it of rain, mist, or snow in a jiffy. Then you see ahead through crystal clear glass, an undimmed vision, unblurred sight. For $2. That's it. Okay. Well, now let us go back in and
one thing to note,
question. Yeah.
when you and I were talking about this and how the hand-operated windshield wipers.
Yes.
And I said, we were saying what in the museum has one that we can show.
Right.
And immediately what came to my mind was the Model T.
Okay.
I know our Model T, and even Ted's. The one that he was showing us, that one does too.
Correct.
We noticed afterwards. And then I came down here one day and noted that the Biddle has them. And the Biddle, this is a really expensive car. And in my mind, it was the Model T thing. It was cheap, it was inefficient. But the Biddle had it, and that was a really expensive car. And it's like you said earlier, it was better than nothing. I mean, at least it had a windshield and it had a wiper on it, even if it was hand operated. So just so different.
Yeah.
From today.
And that's what's neat about researching these old things. It's just things we take for granted nowadays.
Definitely. All right, so now I guess we're going to go check on the state of our
concoctions.
Maybe?
Yeah, I think somewhere
Something
in the
in
near
there.
future.
Yeah.
We'll see you in the diner. We were on our way to the diner, but we stopped at this fine 32 Ford Vicky. First year for the V8 for the Ford, by the way. And we decided we were going to talk a little bit more about the windshields before going back to the diner. Anyway, we're talking about windshield wipers, and there was also a problem, defrosters. Cars didn't have defrosters back then. It's something we take for granted. Now, this I noticed has vacuum-operated windshield wipers, 1932, so this is high tech here. But what Kendra is holding there is a defroster, and that's a company called Simco made that, or the brand name is Simco Electric Clear Vision Defroster by Signal Manufacturing Company of Lynn, Massachusetts. We figure it's from about 1930, so we got a 1932 car to demonstrate it. And basically, it's a piece of glass with a metal frame, and it has wires through it. There's, I think, 4 wires through that.
Yep.
And it's electrically operated. You see the cable there, and you just hook that up to the car's electric system. It would heat the wires up, and it would keep the windshield free of frost or fog or whatever. I guess frost and fog. Only right where that is, though. So you put that in front of you as a driver, thank you, and it would go on the inside. Now, she's showing that on the outside because it's a little easier to see. But you can see there's suction cups here. I thought those suction cups were just to stick it on there, but if you know suction cups, they don't always stay suctioning. And the suction cups, you had glue you put in them, and the suction cups would just hold it temporarily until the glue would dry. And after you do that, it would stick on. It's basically permanent. I guess you could peel it off sometime. But what this would be, if you did not want this in front of you all the time, let's say it's summertime and you don't want this, there's little knobs here. You unscrew these, and there's a little stud coming off of the suction cup, and you can take this whole unit off. So you'd still have the 4 suction cups stuck on the windshield, but you would have the defroster itself would not be in front of you. So that's it, and kind of neat stuff, and something, again, you don't think about defrosters, or you think about them like tomorrow morning when I wake up and I want a warm car and a clear windshield, I have the defroster going, but back then you didn't really think about it. Somebody else also mentioned about fans. Back then you'd have a little fan you could mount right to the steering post of your car, steering column of your car, would blow up on the windshield. I remember as a kid, our school bus had one up on the dashboard blown across the windshield. So that's it.
Okay, well now we made it back to the diner. And Dan, I think you have one more product to show us before we test out our concoctions over
Concoction,
here. Yes.
yeah. Okay, yes, I do. It's called the Clearview Frost Shields. And I saw this advertised online here, eBay type thing, and I decided we need this. And it says here on the box, 12 ready cut shields, including 2 amber non-glare type for rear windows. And reading the instructions and stuff, and supposed to eliminate frost from your windshield. And I'm gonna quickly read the instructions. Well, actually, I have notes on the instructions. First of all, you need to clean the glass. Did we do that with the other stuff, by the way?
Yes,
Did we clean?
we did.
Okay, good.
We did.
Good. Okay, clean glass. And then mix contents of tube with water. And there was this tube of gook here. And it's some sort of stuff you mix with water, and I don't know what it is. And we didn't try this, okay? And it shows a guy emptying this tube in a bowl of water, warm water it had to be. And then what you would do is you take these shields, and here's one of them here. It's just very thin plastic. And you just put it in there, you soak it, you get it all nice and wet and stuff in the bowl with this water, with this gook, okay? Gook, that's a technical word.
I was going to say, is that what's printed on the tube? Gook?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Anyway, so you soak the shield in the solution, then you place the shield on the inside of the glass. So you just kind of spread it out, and hopefully when you do that, it wouldn't curl up like these are. You figure these have been curled for decades. And you put this in, and it tells you how to like get a squeegee, and you smooth, you get all the bubbles out and stuff. And then you let it dry naturally, and you're all set, and you won't have any more frost.
You put it on the inside of the glass.
On the inside, okay?
I wonder how that works.
And it says it's thin enough to allow side windows to open and close. So again, that's how thin it is. And then it will say, will last the entire winter season. And to remove them, you take warm water and you remove it. And that would be it. And I thought that was pretty clever. I found these, Clearview. It's a Clearview company out of Denver, Colorado made it. I found like nothing online except people selling these. And, but it's just kind of a unique thing. Now on the back of the box here, I don't know if you can see this, they have illustrations here of how you can use it. It's buses, airplanes, police cars, mirrors, homes. And you can use all them for this. And I thought it was pretty neat that the airplanes is there, and you'd be putting this stuff on an airplane windshield, and I thought that's, I don't know, high risk. Hopefully it would work, but they have that. So it says eliminates frost or steam on glass areas covered by Clearview shields. And I have a feeling this is similar to this concoction we made is probably in this tube, and you just have it on here, and because it's on the plastic, you can kind of seal it in not permanently, but for several months on your windshield. So that's the Clearview frost shields. So there that is.
Great.
Now I'm all excited. I want We'll see how these work.
Yeah,
So,
let's see how this
Yep.
works. So we have some water. I should put the cap back on this. So it
Oh
doesn't-
no,
I don't want to get it all over
we
your
don't
shirt.
want to waste. Yeah.
I have a water bottle.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we can just spray and see
Okay.
what happens. We don't
Okay.
know what happens. We haven't touched this at
And
all since we did it.
Could we have the towel over here too, just
Yeah.
in case it works?
Yeah, I know. Now you said, did we clean this glass before we did this? I have to say that we had a volunteer in today, Matt, and he was very nice to help me set all this up and clean the glass. And our facilities assistant, Dan, he was in here helping me too. So if you want to volunteer at the museum, this is the kind of stuff you can do. Clean up after Dan and I. Doesn't that sound exciting?
Now I can see there's stuff on the windshield.
It's definitely, I just pulled, one of my hair fell out on here and I pulled it out.
Is it like sticky?
It's not sticky, but there's a film on it.
Ooh, now there's
Yeah.
fingerprints. Okay, but anyway. Well, it didn't really sheet off like we were thinking it would.
It is moving though.
It is moving because,
But-
but it's still wet. Okay. No, not like I thought it would.
It is coming off.
Yeah.
I wonder if you use more water.
Okay.
Can I? Oh, look at that.
Well, it's just running down.
Yeah.
It's washing it off, actually.
But yeah, not really sure
Okay.
how efficient that's going to be for your car. All right. So
Okay.
that was the
Now the-
recipe.
Now the
The
potato.
potato. Let's see.
Potatoes. That kind of went a little better. A little.
Little. There's a big.
I'm thinking of the store brands like Rain-X. And, this doesn't beat up like I thought it would.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. That
No.
stuff, you get a definite bead,
Okay.
and this is not doing that.
That's that. Now the onions. This, by the way, is smelling up the whole diner.
Yeah, we
And
don't have smell-o-vision yet on
yeah,
our TVs, but
and
if you
It's
did,
making me hungry for a hoagie. So, it's kind
about
of
the same as the
same thing.
potato.
Yeah. Okay. Oops. Now,
I think we're going to come to the conclusion that you should be happy that we live when we do.
Yes.
We don't have to do this.
and carrots. But I
Carrots.
did notice
Your
that
favorite.
the windows seem very clean too.
That just washed right off.
Yeah, but that seems to be beating up the most too.
Yeah.
I hate to say that because carrots are bad for you.
Well, see, now this is you don't have to eat them. You need them to put
That's
on your
it.
windshield.
Yes.
Look at the bright side.
I remember as a kid, I used to make a fuss about eating carrots, and my dad would always say they're good for you. They'll improve your eyesight. And I would just look at him, and he said, "Do you ever see a rabbit with Yeah, you ever see a rabbit with glasses?" So.
And you
Okay.
don't, do you?
No,
See?
no, except Mr. Rabbit or Bunny Rabbit on Captain Kangaroo, I think. Animal. So, okay, so that's it.
We learned to use Rain-X
Yes, you use Rain-X or some other brand.
windshield wipers.
So that's our show for tonight.
Yeah, I think so. So
And thanks for watching.
yeah, and if you're getting hit by snow this month, just remember
Yeah.
it could be worse.
Could
At least
be.
your windshield wipers work.
Right. And but it's fun. I did a bunch of research finding out about the old windshield wipers and this Clearview frost shields and the window defroster and all that. And there's so much interesting stuff. I was telling Kendra before, all those advertisements that I was reading from concerning the windshield wipers all came from magazines out of 1917, so almost 100 years old. And I'll be looking through them, and there's so many interesting things that, again, we take for granted, and we kind of don't realize that 100 years ago they were just discovering this stuff. And a lot of future shows came out of those magazines.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely. And on that note, we'll see you in a future show.
Yep.
And
in
Hope
December.
you enjoyed.
December 5th too.
That's right.
Come and see
Come
the
on down.
trains. So, all right.